Well, the surest way to get applause in the 2020 Democratic presidential primary is to bash the country that the candidates say they want to rule. It's not simply the current president who's bad. America itself is bad. Its people, its history, its institutions, they're all racist. And the only way to redeem them, of course, is to elect a Democratic president. Here's their case.
There's a wall of mistrust put up one racist act at a time, not just from what's happened in the past, but from what's happening around the country in the present.
There is a purposeful agenda to foment racism that keeps us apart.
We have to start by restoring and dealing with and rooting out systematic racism built into our laws, our politics, our institutions.
We have a criminal justice system plagued by racism.
As president, I will take on institutional racism directly. I will look into every issue that plagues this country.
We have to go much deeper into a country whose very foundation is racism.
I know that there is systemic racism in our criminal justice system.
And for communities of color that have stared down structural racism for generations, the disaster has hit even harder.
True justice means that we don't have a racist criminal justice system that kills and imprisons black Americans.
We can't be blind to the impact of generations of racism and white supremacy that were written into our laws over centuries.
Bob Woodson is the president and the founder of the Woodson Institute and a frequent guest in the show. We're always honored to have him. Mr. Woodson, thanks very much for joining us tonight.
Pleased to be here, Tucker.
So you've been around politics a long time, many, many decades. Have you ever seen a moment where attacking the country was a centerpiece of anyone's political campaign for president?
I haven't, but let me say that I really think that I disagree a little bit with Heather McDonald. I don't think we need to fight their arguments with a counter-argument. We must confront them with a counter-experience. And Black America are among the strongest supporters of America. We fought in every war, and not a single black was ever tried for treason. Also, we as a people fought for the promise of America against its problems of racism. So we need to go to those communities that all of those politicians are talking about and work with and identify grassroots leaders who are black in there, who use the principles of our founders as the principal means who deliver themselves, redeem themselves from self-destructive behavior, from drugs and alcohol, and because they are the living witnesses that America is defined by its promise. For example, we have, in the face of racism, we've built hospitals, we built insurance companies, hotels. These are the stories of how we achieved against the odd. We had 20 blacks who were born slaves who died millionaires. Some of them actually went back into those plantations and purchased them where they were enslaved, and even took in the families who of the slave masters. So if blacks were able to achieve these great feats in the presence of raw racism, de jure racism, then they can be used today. So these same principles are in our life. But we must give voice to the people suffering the problem to speak for themselves. Every one of those white and black candidates do not live in those communities suffering the problem, and therefore they cannot speak for them.
Point.
But so we got to give them the voice to speak for themselves, and they will give a different message than what you're hearing. We love this country. We fought for this country. We fought for its promise. We achieved in the face of racism, not in the absence of it.
Right. It's a wise point. And the implication of what you just said is it's the people who live in the richest neighborhoods who are the most hostile to America. It's bewildering.
They really are.
Mr. Woodson, thank you.
Okay, a lot of these black scholars are angrier than Frederick Douglass.
It's a deep point. Robert Woodson, thank you very much. Good to see you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.